jurists. He has been Judge President of the now Gauteng Division of the High Court. He served on the Supreme Court of Appeal, and he has made huge contributions to the judiciary, to the development of law in South Africa, and we can all be grateful. This is a man of great integrity, great public mind, and in his current capacity, Judge Ngoepe is the first tax ombud in South Africa, and he has held and continues to hold that office with great distinction. The public has huge confidence in him, and he has executed with distinction a very difficult, trying, consuming task. He has able assistants here who we welcome, but really there couldn't be a more appropriate keynote speaker to pay tribute to Beric than Judge Bernard Ngoepe, and I ask Judge Ngoepe to please address us.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Mr. Kentz. But actually, I should say Mike, as I often call you. So I'm not going to change this evening. Very too. I mean, really, you're just very you? I mean, that's how I'm used to calling you. And Judy. And good evening, everybody. It is my greatest pleasure to be here this evening. Please. It is my honor to be here this evening. When I was told about this occasion, and I was asked whether I could be willing to say something, I jumped at the opportunity, and even though I had some prior commitments for which I sought and obtained an earlier excuse, even though I had some earlier engagements, I felt that I couldn't miss this occasion, and for good measure. Personally, I wouldn't call myself a tax expert because really I didn't have much interest in tax. Yes, I would, for the time that I was at the Joburg bar, I would listen to people like Eddie Bloomberg, talking about tax and all that sort of thing, and I didn't have much interest in that, and I had interest in other fields. But you see, there are people in life who can make you wonder whether you have chosen the right career. Barry has made me think so late in my life. I celebrated my 70th birthday last month. So late in life, he made me wonder whether I had chosen the right path, whether I shouldn't have really concentrated on tax law. That's the kind of person Barry is. And I was honored on one occasion to write a foreword to one of his many books. Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes, quite often in fact, it doesn't take long to dislike a person, just as it doesn't take long to like a person. The truth of the matter is that we do not dislike individuals just because they are individuals. And we don't like individuals just because they are individuals. What determines our attitude towards people is their conduct, is their actions, and it is what they value in life, but more particularly what they give to community. I would not apologize to dislike somebody who, for example, clings onto power for 37 years and ruins the economy of their country. I wouldn't apologize for that. But I don't dislike that person as an individual. I'm looking at the actions and deeds of that particular individual. Now, this should bring me at once to Beric. I looked, I didn't know this man for a very long time. I knew him only, to be honest, quite frankly, I was able only to put the face to the name only after I was appointed the tax ombud a few years ago. Yes, I might have come across his books, looked at them, but I was only able to put the face to the name only a few years ago. It did not take me long when I met him to like the person, because there was history behind that face. And what is this history that I'm talking about? It is a history which says, here amongst us as South Africans, we have people with talent, not just to benefit themselves, but to benefit especially those most in need, and also to benefit the country as a whole. When you go about writing books in the manner that he did, of the quality that he did, and with the commitment that he displayed behind such enterprises, you are left with no doubt other than to say that this man loved his work. This man loved imparting his gift to all of us. It remains for us to appreciate the quality of the kind of work that he does. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings me directly to my office as the tax ombud. A young office we started only a few years ago, but which has managed to grow and grow and grow. And where do we get the strength, the energy, the commitment to build an office like that, which is there to help the people who are sometimes helpless, to help SARS to collect as much tax as possible? It is through the contribution of professional tax practitioners that that office is able to execute its mandate. It is through the professionalism, the collaboration, and commitment of, perhaps I shouldn't have said professionals, professional tax practitioners. I should have said more specifically, the commitment of people like Beric, that office has been inspired, has been put in a position to can help people to the extent that it did, and to help SARS collect as much tax as possible. When we speak about the concept of tax compliance, we begin to understand even better the role of people like Beric. He is, as Mr. Katz has already said, a fair-minded person. I knew him to be that. He's a quiet but very, very forceful person. A weighty person with weighty thoughts, and a person to whom personally I would like to listen whenever the need arises, because I know that what I get from him is something that will enable not me, not only my CEO, but the entire office, and by extension, everyone else who has anything to do with tax law. Many of us would not have been able to understand tax law but for his work, great work I should say, his intellect and his commitment. It is therefore quite appropriate that we should celebrate him while he's still able to continue to do the work, to celebrate him, and then in the end say to him, Beric, we hope you'll continue and continue to do the good work that we have been doing. Only those who truly don't understand the purpose of tax collection, it's only those people who do not appreciate what he does. And before I sit down, in pursuit of what I've said about his sense of fairness, it strikes me that he felt very strongly that taxpayers needed to be treated fairly and in accordance with the law. And as Mr. Katz has already said, surely that must have been what drove him to write certain books, such as The Taxpayers' Rights. Why does he do that? I think he does that because he has got a deep understanding of the fact that when you collect tax, you need to inspire the confidence of taxpayers. And you cannot do that unless you treat them fairly. But you cannot be seen to be treating them fairly unless you are seen to be recognizing the fact that they do have rights, and those rights have to be respected. Only when you do that, Mr. Kingon from SARS, only when you and I do that, understand that. Only when you and I understand that taxpayers got the rights that Beric is talking about, only when we do that will we be able to inculcate in the citizenry a sense or a culture of tax compliance. And one day, when you shall have been able to meet your target, don't forget, it will be as a result of the contribution by people like Beric. Thank you very much.